Morning, I'm Kyle Benbeck, and welcome to Monday Morning Mobility. I'm going to take you through 5 developmental movements this morning that are going to help you nourish your nervous system and unlock your mobility and reflexive strength. All of these movements are very gentle. None of them should hurt. There's only 2 rules, basically. Make sure that any of the movements we go into, you're moving in a comfortable range of motion. And secondly, you want to breathe with your diaphragm. So keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. So if you swallow, that's where your tongue goes. Just keep it there for the duration of the exercises. Okay, so first thing I'd like to do is just start with a baseline. So if we don't measure our mobility, then we won't know whether what we've done has made an improvement at all. So just give me a moment here. I'm just going to pin my screen so I can film this. Okay. So what we want to do before we begin is take a baseline so that we can see whether what we've done has made any improvement. So I usually suggest 2 movements for the baseline. One could be a squat. So for me, if I wake up in the morning, usually I'm pretty stiff in the squat, feel a little bit slouchy, a little bit achy in the hip joints. So that's usually the baseline I choose. You could also try a toe touch. So a lot of people early in the morning find they're pretty sticky and they can't touch the ground. But it could be anything you want. So any movement that you struggle with, just give it a try right now, see how it feels, and then we'll try it again at the end of the session. Okay? So the first movement we're going to do is just breathing. And often we forget breathing is a movement, but of course not much else happens if we're not breathing. So we're going to start off on the belly. Okay, this is called crocodile breathing. I want you to visualize a crocodile with its midsection expanding and contracting. So we're trying to take the breath right down low into the belly. So just support your head on your hands. Get your ribs nice and flat on the ground. And you're going to use the floor to get some feedback. So breathe in and out through the nose. Again, keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And just feel the belly expand into the ground. We'll take about 2 minutes to establish some good diaphragmatic breathing. Try to bring your awareness to where that breathing is coming from. Often we breathe very high in the chest. Try to relax your midsection. Let go of any bracing that you might hold on to throughout the day in the midsection. And just let that expand with the inhale. This is a great position to breathe in as well if you suffer from back pain. Try to feel that the lumbar discs somewhat decompress with your inhale. Try to feel some expansion in the lower back. Breathing with the diaphragm gives the nervous system a sense of safety, which will unlock your mobility. And from there, what you're going to do is pop up into what I call the TV watching position. So if this pinches your back at all, you can always extend it out a little bit and bring the elbows out. But just come up onto the elbows. And you want to keep your neck nice and long. So I visualize a giraffe neck. So push the shoulders down and keep your neck nice and long. Keep breathing with the diaphragm if you can, tongue on the roof of the mouth. And we're going to start with nods. So we're going to work on a little bit of head control. So if we look up with the eyes, you might notice right away when you look up, your head almost wants to go with the eyes. So just allow that to happen. And then we'll look down and notice that the head reflexively moves with the eyes. Okay, so we're just going to continue nodding. You can go at whatever pace you like. But the eyes lead, head follows. Okay, and awareness changes everything here. So if you can just pay attention to where that movement is coming from, you realize how much of your spine is involved with head control. If you find yourself slouching throughout the day, just try looking up. And you'll feel how much reflexive extension you get in your upper back. Where a lot of us are locked forward in a hunched position. Okay, and from there, we're going to look left and right. Okay, so you're just going to imagine you're trying to find your shoes. So we're just looking left. You can find your shoes and look right. Left. And look right. Again, never moving into pain. Okay, pain has the opposite effect we want. We're trying to teach the nervous system that we're safe, and that allows us to move deeper into our ranges. Pain has the same effect as fear, and it will put the brakes on the nervous system. Still breathing through the nose if you can. Tongue is on the roof of the mouth. If you try, actually, like let your tongue kind of hang on the bottom of your mouth, and you'll notice how that really locks up the mobility. Right? Put the tongue back on top. Things open back up. Again, try to feel the involvement of the entire spine in the head turn, and you'll feel the shoulder blades and the shoulders reflexively moving and stabilizing with that head turn. So if you've got sticky shoulders, nods and turns can be really good to activate stabilizers and open up your shoulder mobility. Okay, very gentle, but you'll be surprised at how well this works. Okay. And from there, we're going to go into some rolling patterns. Okay, really good at mobilizing the thoracic spine and the hips. So we're going to start lying on the ground. Pretend you're Superman, okay, or Supergirl, arms overhead. And what I want you to do is bend your right leg, okay, so your heels up towards the sky, and just reach it across your body. So just watch this first one. Keep reaching, keep reaching, keep reaching. Upper body's relaxed until I get pulled into a roll, okay? And then to come back onto the belly, I'm going to use my hand as a focal point, okay? And I'm gonna keep looking at my hand, reach, as if I'm reaching for something really important. Okay, let the whole body follow the arm segmentally, okay? And we can alternate sides. So I can go with the left, on the back, and then the arm, reach across, roll, until the whole body falls, okay? So play around with this for a couple minutes. Really try to get each segment of spine to move independently. So a picture is worth 1,000 words, and I always try to imagine I'm a wave just rolling over very fluidly and relaxed. If you find that you're tensing up and you're using the ground, you're pushing off the ground to roll, that's a sign that your reflexive strength needs a little bit of work. The nervous system needs a little bit of work. And of course, this is a great way to do it. The gait pattern is based on rolling patterns. So if you struggle with the roll, then your walking is going to be less efficient. than it could be. So just a couple more. Play around with this movement. It should feel good. Getting a lot of stimulation on the surface of the skin. Largest sensory organ in the body. Okay, and if you can end up on your back, go into a second rolling pattern. You're going to bring the knees up towards your chest. Relax your shoulders. Tongue stays on the roof of the mouth. And again, let the body follow the head. So I'm going to look right and let the body roll right. And I'm just going to keep looking around so I'm looking behind me. And then I look left. Roll left. Keep looking behind. Again, you may find that you're pushing off the ground with your elbow. And that's okay. You can't really do these wrong, but it's just an indication of how things are moving. This should be a completely relaxed motion if your deep stabilizers are kicking in and you're getting great mobility throughout the spine. This is really good for balance as well. So if you're an older person and wondering on great ways to work on balance, stimulating the vestibular system, moving your head in different areas of space is very good for building that sense of balance, sense of body awareness. Okay, and we'll pop up into a quadruped position. Okay, in the quadruped position, just keep your hands under your shoulders, keep your head up. You're kind of sitting like a puppy, okay? And what I want you to do is curl your toes under if you can. If you can't, it's okay to rest on the tops of the feet too. But if you can, curl those toes under so we can mobilize some of the joints, some of the 33 joints in the feet. Keeping the head up, tongue on the roof of the mouth. You're just gonna rock back and forth. Okay, and this is how all of your spinal curves were set as a child. So really good for posture and reflects the strength of your core. Again, it's very gentle, should feel good. If you find that you get to the back of the rock and the tail is tucking, just don't go quite as far. Let's just try to keep the tail up as we rock. Okay, and we can go into a circular rock as well. So imagine you've got a Sharpie on your belly button, and we're going to draw a big circle on the ground. This feels really nice. Again, you can feel reflexive stabilization in your shoulders. A lot of people wonder how to strengthen the rotator cuff. Well, the rotator cuff works to stabilize you. So if you just get into a ground position and ask the shoulders to stabilize you, you're strengthening your rotator cuff. It's a little more interesting than just doing external rotations with a resistance band or whatever the physio or your trainer will have you do. We're actually using the rotator cuff for what it's designed for. The hips should feel, well, they feel how they feel. my right hip's always a little bit crunchy, but it tends to open up and loosen up a little bit with the circular rock. Let's go the other direction. Then we're going to go into a contralateral pattern. So this is called the speed skater. Okay, all I want you to do is bring the opposite arm and opposite leg back. Okay, the head stays on the horizon. And we're just alternating. Okay, of course, it's a core exercise. but I don't want you to artificially brace. I just want you to let your body reflexively respond to the movement. You should feel your core working. Okay, the higher the arm goes, the higher the leg goes. That's how it works. All right. And what I'll get you to do, so that's just 15 minutes of work. Stand up, shake it out, and retest your baseline. So I'm going to go back into my squat. That does feel a little bit better. All right, so hopefully that helps you out. The system is called Original Strength. You can look into it if you like. Hopefully I'll see you all next week. Take care.